Good morning. 8 o'clock day of.
Let's go. What the heck? Where's the
Hi mom, hi dad, hi Jane, Jenny, everybody. We're just starting to make videos to recap the weeks that we just went through. That way we don't forget where we've been. I'm already forgetting like what place is what. Everything's starting to mesh together. Um, as we started, anything you think about when we were leaving? Like anything? Do you remember leaving?
Barely. What was the question?
Um, when we left, did you feel like you got everything done?
That I wanted to do before leaving California? Yeah. Or before leaving Southern California. Um, yeah, it was kind of like a whirlwind. Everything kind of just happened
Yeah.
really, really fast. A lot of things happened all at once.
Yeah, we were super busy the last 2 weeks. We were putting stuff in storage. We went to Disneyland.
Dodger game.
We went to a Dodger game. Went to a bunch of Nolan's games. Um, Father's Day / my dad's birthday, we went golfing. So got a lot done.
Yeah.
So on the way out, our first stop was Mammoth. Something happened in Mammoth. It's never happened before. We've been on a bunch of trips, like 3 to 7 day trips, and we've stayed in BLM land or forest land, was it?
National Forest.
National Forest. And this time we had a cop tell us that we can't stay where we were.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad of an experience for me. We weren't like sleeping in the middle of the night and somebody like just banging on the door. It was more of like I was cooking dinner and the door was wide open, so he kind of just said, "Excuse me, are you guys planning on staying the night here?" And we were like, well, I was like, I didn't know. Am I not supposed to? But he was really nice. He told us we couldn't stay there, but we just needed to drive like 2 miles further away from town, and then we would be able to post up there for the night. And we found a spot, and it was pretty quiet. It was actually a good spot. I thought it would be a little bit busy, but it wasn't.
Just one other car.
Yeah, just one other car.
Yeah, we got lucky. There were 2 nights we stayed there without any problem. No one told us anything, so we got lucky to get through the nights without someone knocking in the middle of the night, which is probably not something we're looking forward to when that does happen.
Hopefully it won't happen. But we'll see. Probably will.
Yeah, one of my bucket list stops on this trip was to post Devil's Post Pile, and it was closed all the way up until we left, and we got so lucky because it opened up the day that we had planned to visit there, so we were able to see Devil's Post Pile.
Yeah, our route was through the east side of California up to Portland to see Devil's Post Pile and also Lhasa National Park. And those two things were closed by the time we had left for our trip. And we just got super lucky that, as far as timing goes, that by the time we got to those places, it had just opened up. Even the place in Crater Lake, like the first night we were there, just one side of the rim drive was open, but the second night we were there, they opened up the second side, so we were able to drive all the way through. So I think we've been really lucky, timing wise, that we got to see everything that was on our list.
Yeah. Do you have anything else from Mammoth?
So another stop in Mammoth was this earthquake fault, which really freaked me out. Because, like, you see where the ground literally, like, broke open. And as I was standing there, I was like, oh my god, if there was another earthquake that would happen right now, I would literally be, like, eaten up by the earth. That was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was deep and wide. When I thought of a fault line, I thought it was something you couldn't see, but this, you can clearly see it.
Or, like, usually mountains, like, that's where the fault lines are. But no, this one literally is, like, the earth is cracked open. That was super freaky. It just reminds you that, like, Mother Nature is like way bigger than you, and if she wants to destroy you, she can. She'd just eat you up alive if she wants to. Yeah. So that was Mammoth.
Yeah, so for Mammoth, we went up to Tahoe, and I think we made a mistake. We went on a weekend, and it was a hot or warm weekend, and it was packed. We couldn't find parking to save our lives. There were a couple things that happened, though, that were interesting. We were looking for a place for Venus to wash off.
It'd been like 4 days since we showered, and I'm miserable when I'm dirty. And we had tried driving into Carson City because iOverlander said that there was an aquatic center that had showers. If you paid $3, you get to take a shower. So we drove to Carson City, we ran a bunch of errands, and then we hit up the aquatic center, and they were closed because of Juneteenth. So I guess Juneteenth, I'm not even in touch with what's going on with the world, but Juneteenth is a holiday now officially. And that day, the aquatic center posted up a sign saying that because of the new holiday, they were closed. So I didn't get my shower. And yeah, I just was not very happy when I'm dirty.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I'll settle for like jumping in the lake. That's fine. Just find me a spot so I can jump in the lake in Lake Tahoe and just like rinse off so I'm not sticky. And that was an adventure in itself because it was just so busy.
Yeah, we were going through like one-way streets or only a road big enough for one vehicle, so we had to pull over, go to the side. We found a wallet on the way to one of the stops. Tell us first about going in the lake. How was that?
Oh, so the first spot we tried to go to was in North Lake Tahoe, and apparently North Lake Tahoe is like an exclusive place. So in order to like jump in the lake in North Lake Tahoe, in this one part of Lake Tahoe, you had to have a house there. I literally just wanted to just jump in the lake and get out and just rinse off, but I'm not gonna sit there and explain it. And so we found a place in South Lake Tahoe because we were staying in South Lake Tahoe for the night of the Harvest Host, and so we found a little access to get into the lake, and I was super excited. But when I got there, like I don't go in lakes very often, but the lake, the bottom of it, where you would walk into the water was super rocky. So it was not like the nice soft beach sand that I'm used to. You need like lake shoes or I don't know what kind of water shoes to get in it. And then on top of it, like there was this slime on the surface of the water. So not only was I dirty when I walked in to the lake, like between like my knees and my feet was like grossly covered with slime.
It's like a yellow stuff. We think it's from the trees, like this yellow stuff that falls, because it's on top of our van too. But I think as the boats go by, like it pushes all the yellow stuff to the side, but it all collects together and it just. Yeah, I didn't feel it, but was it slimy?
It was just, yeah, a little. I don't know. It was just not what I was expecting of like a lake. I just assumed a lake, you just, like I've been on a lake, but maybe I was like on a boat and I jumped not from the shore. I just jumped in the water off the boat, so that was a good experience, but yeah, so that didn't work out. And so what we ended up doing was I couldn't take it anymore, so we just made our makeshift shower and I took a shower in the van, and I was an absolutely different person afterwards, a completely different person afterwards, because like I wasn't sticky anymore.
Yeah, so that night we posted up at a Harvest Host church, and we were able to take a shower in the parking lot there from our makeshift shower. And after Venus got feeling better, clean,
I had to thank the Lord, so I went to church.
So I went to church.
We still had this wallet.
Oh, sorry.
We went to church the next day, but we still had this. We still had this wallet, and we wanted to get back to the owner. And well, we know how like canceling credit cards, and we don't want to have someone go through that process, trying to get to them before that. So we went through the person's wallet just to find out who he was and try to see if there's phone numbers. We called his work. We emailed his work. We looked on Instagram and Facebook and found his wife actually, and Venus called his wife, but she didn't answer. Then she called back like an hour or two later, and we ended up meeting up with these people to get the guy's wallet back. But by the time he had showed up to get it from us, he'd already canceled all of his credit cards.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to avoid because I know it's like a hassle to do all that. But we tried, and we found him, so we gave him the wallet. And he was really grateful because one of the things that was in his wallet was like an irreplaceable prayer card from his dad or something.
His dad's prayer card.
So yeah, it's those things that are really important, not necessarily the credit cards. I mean, credit cards are important, but
And then,
I'm just glad he got it back.
And then the next morning, you went to church?
Next morning I went to church. Thank you for the shower. No, it was a Lutheran church, and I figured we spent the Saturday night there. I figured might as well go to church on Sunday, and it was a good service. It gave me a good message. Funny how things like that happen. Like, basically the sermon was like, you're not in control, so don't stress out about it. Just like let go and let things happen, which was a good it's a good message for me at the time because we were stressed out a little bit. Yeah.
Anything else from Tahoe?
Just the falling leaf, the campground.
Oh. Yeah, so we ended up going to a campground, and in the middle, not the middle of the night, like maybe closer to dinner time, right after dinner, we heard a bunch of people like talking and gathering outside, and we didn't know what was going on. I looked out, and normally when I see this, it's a sign of wildlife, and sure enough, there was a bear and two of her cubs.
A mama bear.
Yeah, walking through the campground looking for food, and ended up finding someone that left all their food out on the table and on this hanging like closet or something.
Pantry?
Pantry, yeah, it's full of food.
Mama hit the jackpot.
Yeah, the bear got in there, started eating all the food, giving some to her cubs, and then another bear showed up, and while this is all happening, the guy that's at that campsite is trying to scare away these bears, getting super close to them and throwing stuff at them. He actually turned his back on the bear that came up later, and he got lucky, nothing happened to him, but that other bear that showed up tried to get in on the food, and the mama bear wasn't having it, and she charged the bear, which in turn made
she charged at like our direction.
Yeah, she charged the bear, and the bear turned towards our direction, towards our van where we're at, and everyone started running. I started running, the dog started barking. Yeah, we were looking out the windows with everything closed, see what was going on. We couldn't see anything anymore, but we don't think anything else happened from that.
Mm-mm.
But
we don't know. We were locked up in the van after that. We were gonna go out and see.
So that was
kind of exciting. Well,
interesting.
Scary. Yeah. So that was like Tahoe.
From Tahoe, we went to Lassen Volcanic National Park, and I'd never heard of this before this trip.
Yeah, I found out about it through like the magazine that you get through AAA, the Westways, and it had a little article on it, and it looked really interesting, and it said that it wasn't as busy as all the other parks, so I decided to hit it up.
Yeah, the best part of that national park is probably, to me, it's bump as hell. It's just a little hike, 2 miles.
I think 2.6 is what we...
Round trip?
Yeah.
Okay, so like 1.3 miles in, 1.3 out. It's kind of steep, but as you get in, you walk and you turn this corner into bump as hell, and it's like walking on another planet. You just see mud bubbling and boiling. You see steam everywhere.
Yeah. So I
Smells.
assume it's kind of like a mini Yellowstone because it has geothermal activities. So they have you walk on a little boardwalk and you can kind of see it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like rotten eggs. But I got used to the smell. But it was worth the hike for sure.
It wasn't a bad smell. It was just off-putting.
Yeah. I find that Lassen's actually a really good national park. It's kind of small, but it has a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's also like a waterfall that you could hike to, but we didn't have a chance to hike. They have lakes that's like beautiful. There was one lake that was absolutely clear and gorgeous. We literally just parked up next to it and had lunch. Yeah, it's a good little national park. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Leading up to there, we'd seen a bunch of waterfalls. Like we'd been to Minaret Falls and Rainbow Falls. Those are both near Devil's Postpile. Then the Lake Tahoe, they had Cascade Falls, and then on the way out of Lassen there was Bernie Falls. I'm just checking with you.
Yeah, let's restart because there's a motorcycle.
No, that's fine.
Oh.
I'm just checking with you, like which of those?
Bernie Falls is my favorite.
Yeah, Bernie Falls, you can just drive up to it and you just walk and see it. So if you don't like hiking, that's the one for you. But the other three I felt were rewards after a decent hike. So take what you will, but Bernie Falls,
yeah, for sure,
probably wins.
Yeah, I agree. So the only thing that was a little stressful in Lassen for us was I didn't have any reservations. I'd looked online and it showed that they had some first come first serve sites, but it said tent only. And from what I had watched online for videos, like if you have a camper van, you're pretty much the same length as a truck, and so most people will just reserve or will be able to camp at a tent only site. But the problem was we had found a tent only first come first serve site, but the camp host told us that we weren't allowed to camp in there because we were an RV. And I'm like, well, if you want, I have a tent in the back and I can pitch the tent and then we can call it a day. But apparently it doesn't work that way because we are able to cook in the van and we have a refrigerator in the van. They considered us an RV. So I was really sad, disappointed when she said we couldn't reserve that site. But she had told us that there were other sites that we could take up for the night, which was really good news because I didn't know what to do if we couldn't reserve that site or if we couldn't camp there.
Yeah, the first night I think we had 3 or 4 options, and we ended up choosing the first one that we ran across. The other ones were bigger. We didn't want to take up someone with a bigger rig space. Yeah. But the next day, we figured, we'll show up early for first come first serve, and it turns out there was only one spot available. Yeah. And we got really lucky that we were there. We got that one spot. So it turns out that first come first serve there's not designated spots that they hold to the side for the first come first serve. It's just whatever they had left over.
Unless you're a tent.
Well, unless you're a tent, which we knew after the first night we weren't. So we got lucky. That was the second time we got lucky. First one was the Devil's Postpile, then this one.
I would like to know your opinion on like a small park like Lassen versus Yosemite. Do you prefer a smaller park or do you like the bigger national parks?
The bigger parks, I never feel like we get everything done.
Yeah.
I always feel like we've rushed and rushed and rushed and we still didn't see everything we needed to. The smaller parks, not only are they less crowded, but it's something you can finish in a day or two. Yeah. And I think Lassen was perfect right after being in Tahoe when it was so busy we couldn't even stop anywhere.
Yeah.
We got lucky just to find a spot for lunch.
Yeah. That's true. So after Lassen, we headed to Crater Lake. What did you think of Crater Lake?
Crater Lake it's been covered by a bunch of people. I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it on YouTube, but it doesn't compare to when you first get there. Like when you first go over the little hill and you see the lake in front of you, and you see how it mirrors off the sky and everything, it's incredible. We made a bunch of stops and different viewpoints, and it was amazing. Every time we stopped, it was like still awe-inspiring. Every time we looked over and looked down.
So with Crater Lake, we got really lucky because the day I was driving there, we were able to book a campground for 4 nights. It's like super long for us, but it was well needed because we were just exhausted. Because previously we would just go. Like I think we moved almost every day. And so when the opportunity came that I could stay for 4 days in the campground, I took it. And I thought it was good. It was a really good campground.
That was the best campground I've ever been in. It was spread out, like everyone had their own space.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of bugs, but it's what you get in the summertime.
It's camping.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the best campground we've been to. It's been the best one this trip for sure.
So the only downfall of that campground was the showers weren't open because of COVID.
Oregon has different rules still.
Yeah. So we didn't take a shower for 4 days, but we weren't as sweaty because we didn't hike as much.
Yep.
And the only other thing that kind of freaked me out was you're camping on a volcano, so like it might erupt. Who knows? You know.
Well,
Does that freak you out?
It did freak me out. There's a dormant volcano, like that can erupt in the future, that's still under the water, and just knowing there are campgrounds right there, like it's unnerving, but
At least it'll happen quick.
yeah, if it happens, it'll happen quick. But it didn't happen. We're already gone, so we're good.
Okay, so from Crater Lake, our plan was to go to Bend, but there's this ridiculous heat wave going on in the Pacific Northwest. So Bend and Portland were like in the 110s, 115s. I don't even know. It was like ridiculously hot. So we decided to skip Bend and head to the coast. So that's where we're at right now. We're in a campground in Cloverdale called Sand Beach. So we're about like 30 minutes outside of Tillamook. And Tillamook is like famous for its cheese. So we hit up the Tillamook Cheese Factory. Is that a factory?
It's called Tillamook Creamery.
Oh, Creamery. Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of food that I can't have, and ice cream, which I can't have.
You can have cheese too.
But,
yeah, but it was a good day trip. Like it was super busy apparently because all the people in Portland were trying to avoid the heat, so they had the same idea. Ended up at the coast, and so like we spent a lot of time in line just waiting to order food. Well,
it was worth it,
food.
right?
Yeah.
It was worth it. I guess stood in line for a long time just to pay for the stuff I picked out of the gift area, but
so aside from all the stuff you could buy, they had a little tour of cheese factory or the creamery. I'm sorry. They had a tour of the creamery where you were just like above all the workers and you saw how the whole process was done. So it was a good day trip.
So that's it so far. We're going to be heading to Portland.
I'm going to go see my best friend and her daughter, and I'm super excited because I haven't seen her in over a year. And before COVID hit, I would go visit them every other month. Then I get to see her grow up. But since COVID, it's like she's a whole different person. She's talking. She probably looks totally different now. And I'm super excited to see her. Are you excited to be in Portland? You can eat normal food in Portland. Well, not normal food, but you can eat like a normal person in Portland.
Yeah, there's a lot more places for me, like catered to people that have gluten allergies or celiac, either one. So there's going to be a lot of places we get to go to, but Venus is looking forward to other places that
have gluten.
Yeah, her friend has already set up places for them to go. Yeah. But I'll find stuff for myself. It'll be fine.
It'll be good. All right.
Okay.
So see you next time.
All right. Bye. Is he still there?
Yeah.
Oh no, I put it on set.